Hey everybody, come on in. It's the Shawn Yankey show. We're gonna start in just a second. I'm just making sure we're up and good everywhere, but welcome. This is a live show, and we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. And I share it to a bunch of places, and I got a watch party going. There's a lot going on. I am gonna try to keep up with comments everywhere. But welcome to the show. What this is a live, interactive, comment-driven talk show hosted by me. By the way, I'm Shawn of Shawn Yankey Show. So, welcome to the show. Welcome to the feed. Let me see and make sure we're up everywhere. I've got so many tabs open. It is just making me dizzy. We are going to talk about a big topic tonight. But let's see. Carol's here. Ginger, Jack, Joan, Brett. Hey, Brett. Heath. What's up, guys? Nissa. Azora, you're here on Facebook. How you doing? Azora's a regular on YouTube. Nissa's here on Facebook. Nissa super chatted. My goodness. Thank you, Nissa. $5 super chat on YouTube. And I haven't even said anything yet, so I better step up my game. But we are going to talk tonight about how I believe that MK Ultra and Operation Mockingbird are still actively used against us through the media and Hollywood. So come on in, like and share, get this out. That's what the main topic of discussion is going to be about. But as always, we can get into absolutely anything. And there's a lot to get into with this. But before we start, I think I need to say something just to make it clear. Because there was a few people, and I'll get to it in a second, that were upset with me yesterday. I uploaded a new video yesterday on the new patent that Bill Gates has applied for the RFID chip, basically. But what I want to get out there before we start is that evil people are at the top of the pyramid that rules over us. And like it or not, these people are deeply religious. And they are Luciferian, and they are heavily into the occult. Now, I happen to be Christian, but don't let that turn you off if you're not, because I'm not about judgment or pushing my views on you. And that's not going to happen here on this show. But what I am about is truth. And the truth is that these Luciferian occultists do believe in pushing their views on you. So whether you like it or not, it affects you. And while some people didn't like that in my last video I referred to Bill Gates' recent patent on the RFID chip as the mark of the beast, but it's right there in the patent number, 666. And it's always like that. They always put the truth in plain sight. They are actually very honest with us about their intent and have presented it all to us in their own way. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. They tell us all of it through music, television, and Hollywood movies. It's called predictive programming, and it's a tactic used against us to mentally condition us to accept things slowly over time. This is all mind control, and it's real. And this is not a conspiracy. This is fact. And tonight's conversation is going to center around this fact. But trauma-based mind control has been around for a while. And it was the Nazis who really refined tactics for its use. And between 1945 and 1959, we brought 1,600 Nazi scientists, engineers, etc. here to continue their monstrous research in the States. And this gave birth to many agencies in the United States. But the main focus that we're going to spend a lot of time on in this discussion will primarily be the CIA, who has been the ones that have officially carried on the mind control techniques used in their programs. Sorry, I'm going to grasp the English language before the end of this feed, I promise you. But MK Ultra and Operation Mockingbird. In fact, they have such a hold over the media currently, to this day, that there are words, phrases, etc. that you cannot say on social media. Facebook, YouTube, Google, etc. They block. And YouTube has announced that they will outright ban your videos and maybe even your channel if you speak negatively about the World Health Organization currently. We live in an Orwellian dystopian nightmare, and newspeak is real. So this is the stuff that I wanted to focus on tonight. And what inspired this conversation is a documentary, Out of Shadows, that I just re-uploaded to my channel on YouTube to help get it out. And you know what? I'm going to say something right now. I don't know why. It's just a little off topic, but it offended me. Someone had the audacity to accuse me of trying to upload that for money. I didn't monetize it. It's not my video, but I want it to get out there. And the more places it shows up, the harder it is to keep it down. That's why I did it. I didn't do it to monetize it. I demonetized it. I never even put it up for monetization. It wasn't about money. It was just so outrageous that a troll would show up and accuse me of trying to raise money with that video. But let me see what you guys have been talking about while I was ranting. Because all I was really doing is setting up what I want to talk about. And we're going to talk about each piece. I just want to make sure I'm including everybody. So let me pull out this. I have two devices now, so I can see the watch party comments. Desiree says, God bless you. Hi, Desiree. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Amra. Anyone that's here in the watch party. I've hosted watch parties on your page before. And last night was on accident. The night was on purpose, though. And the reason I did it was because tonight I want to be able to include you. So I can see what you're saying. But let's see. Hey, Allison. Hey, Cindy. Good to see you could make it. Let's see what you guys have been talking about in the comments. Nissa says, give, he needs it. Everybody does. These times are hard. You know, and they're going to get harder. You know, the media is a weapon. It's being used against us. And the truth is being kept from everybody, but the things are getting ready to get very bad. Hey, Dion, Ginger. Good to see some more people made it in on Facebook. Daniel says no more social distancing. We're going to get into that. Azora had left a comment on YouTube earlier that we need some direct action in regards to freedoms being yanked out from underneath us all. That today he simply went out for a hike in the back country and he ran into trouble. So this is getting out of hand. It's ridiculous what's going on, and it is a power grab. It is a reach for authority. I'm not saying or implying even that the virus itself isn't real. I think it is real. We can get into what my opinions are on it, but I believe it exists. I don't believe it's as severe as what they're saying. This fear and the social distancing, this stuff is conditioning. This is part of the MK Ultra mind control that is still used on us to this day. They use shock and awe situations, and that's what they're using this virus as. A way to shock everybody and terrify everybody and get you so afraid that you will go along with things that they've already wanted to do, had on the back burner for a long time. They do that with every crisis. So whether it's made up or real, doesn't matter. They don't ever let one go to waste. And they always capitalize on the fear of it. And that's what they're doing right now with these lockdowns. I think they're testing us. A lot of people have said that to me, that it's a test. Because I keep thinking martial law is going to roll out. I keep thinking the worst is going to happen, but that's just in my nature. And everything that we've ever cried about and screamed about falling into place before something like that would happen is happening. So it's hard not to. But they are at least testing us to see what we'll put up with, to see what we'll tolerate. And a lot of it's never going to change. A lot of it's never going back to normal. Brett says, have 45,000 people died? Or are you not convinced that that is true? I'm convinced that's true. I'm convinced that's true. But are they being diagnosed properly? Now, that is an issue. Now, I don't want to make it about the virus right away. We can. I hope we get back to the MK Ultra and the mind control stuff and how it's being used against us. But again, the virus is real itself, but a coronavirus is just a type of virus. And they've admitted themselves that they don't have adequate testing. And the CDC has recommended that when the cause of death could be COVID-19, to go ahead and mark the death certificate COVID-19. So is that factoring in things that are similar to COVID that people could have died from? The stats aren't accurate, is what I'm saying. Allison says, I heard that for the last few years with the flu, we're going to come up positive anyway. That's what I'm saying as well. Things are being misdiagnosed as COVID because they're just not bothering to test. The general practice, and they say it's because of lack of proper testing, is to just assume you have it if you're showing symptoms. So how accurate is that? Because COVID shows symptoms similar to a lot of different things. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people die every year from respiratory infections. A lot of people die every year from heart problems. A lot of people die every year from a lot of different things as well. So how inflated is the numbers? Azora says, I have a video clip of a medical professional admitting that the coronavirus is assumed if they have nothing else to go by. It's true. That's a fact. You know, I get into conspiracies. I like conspiracies. But that is not a conspiracy. That is true. They are being encouraged to diagnose as COVID and being told there will be no repercussions for doing so. So, Carol says, putting 5G up to do that. To do what? To get us all on a smart grid. 5G is to get the whole Internet of Things connected. They want the world connected. They want everything connected. That's why it's so important. We're kind of all over the place already. That tends to happen on this show. This is, I'll warn you, a comment-driven show. So we end up all over the place. Philip says, to find out what 5G does, look on Toxic Earth. You can look under 5G. So check that out for info on 5G. I want to cover 5G, actually. I'm concerned about 5G, and the push of it bothers me. I don't like that we're moving forward with this technology and making it into laws. It's just very strange to me that it's so important to have 5G towers literally everywhere. And I want to know more about it. You know, there's been no testing, no real testing done to what the effects are. And it's irresponsible to think there would be none. It's a weaponized frequency. Jack says get out of the cities. But it's everywhere, Jack. They're going to put it everywhere. They're going to have it in rural areas as well. These mini towers, they can put them wherever they want. And they will. But I don't know enough to comment here or there on 5G. But Philip was saying Toxic Earth is a really good place to get some information if you want some. I'm going to research more and hopefully have an expert on about 5G. Because I would like to air some concerns. I think people would. And I don't like it when you can't. When it's treated as a subject where you can't question it. I think we have the right to be informed about what we're going to be exposed to. Carol says, why are peeps saying we're being radiated? Well, we are. We are, to a certain degree, from the way I understand it. We're exposed to frequencies on a constant basis. Just the Wi-Fi in your house can affect you. We respond to frequencies as a natural being. Most things do in nature. But Every time I see Nissa's super chat, it makes me smile. That is awesome. Thank you, Nissa. I appreciate that. Facebook just got weird on my screen, but I think they messed with me. I think we're still good because in the watch party, it looks like we're still up. By the way, let me check the comments there. Armando says, poor countries don't have 5G and people are dying. Abigail says, it's going to get worse before it gets better. It is. It's going to get really bad. You know, they're projecting unemployment rates as high as like 48, 50 million people unemployed. I think that's twice what was the rate during the Great Depression. This is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad. People are in for a shock, but a lot's going to be exposed at the same time. A lot's going to be brought to light, but we are going to be the leaders in that because they are heavily brainwashed and indoctrinated with these tactics that the media uses and that Hollywood uses. You know, I wanted to get into some certain things, so I just want to make sure we get certain things out. What Hollywood means. A lot of people, they don't really understand that it has pagan origins, the word Hollywood. The Druids were tree worshippers, especially oak, and holly was their most sacred symbol because it was sacred to the Mother Holy, or Hel, the Norse goddess of the underworld. Thus we have Hollywood, the place of magic. That's what it means. It's the home of the Illuminati's mass propaganda and conditioning machine. That's its entire purpose. It is not there for entertainment. It is controlled and has an agenda. And these movies, even innocent movies, even movies that seem innocent, are programming you in some way. They have some agenda. There's something going on. Even Zoolander is about MK Ultra. You know, it's fascinating how much they rub it in your face. They put the truth in plain sight. That's part of their belief system. That's part of what they believe makes their occult magic work, is telling you right to your face, this is what we're going to do to you. They've put it all out there for us on TV, in books, music, and movies. There's so much being done to us right in front of our faces. And the average person is oblivious to it, thinks it's entertainment, doesn't see the agenda behind it, you know, and they're not meant to. It's supposed to look like entertainment. Yeah, I knew we were still good on Facebook, guys. They mess with me. I know it is something that they do to pulse feeds. I'm at this point convinced of it. For a long time, I felt like I was being paranoid. But like I said, there are words you cannot say. And I said one of them. I said coronavirus. I wasn't gonna. I didn't plan on bringing it up. But I don't know how we're going to continue forward, honestly. Once they finish really tightening down what you're allowed to do and what you're allowed to get out there. This is just an opinion show, but I know it's messed with. I know it's throttled, and I know it's kept down. But you say certain things and phrases, and you get tagged. Like I'm sure on YouTube by now, since I said the C word, there's a link to the World Health Organization for COVID-19. Why is this necessary? Facebook is now warning you if you interact with something they consider to be fake news. And they're giving you the approved version of whatever that happens to be. How much will we put up with? How much will we tolerate? And how do you spread truth and expose things in that environment? It's frightening. As someone that wants to spread truth and get this kind of stuff out there and expose it, it concerns me that the ability to do so is being taken away, which is why I try to share as much as I do. what we share here, even to places that may not fully agree with everything I'm talking about. Because gotta agree on one thing, and that is the truth is important, and we gotta support it and get it out. Philip says we have one of those meters which checks magnetic, radio, microwave, and electric. You wouldn't believe what things in your house make it go crazy. If you unplug your modem or router at night, make sure it is disconnected. I realized that I had not been doing that for 5 years, but get one and check your light bulbs. Philips went off the scale. And we're exposed to all kinds of different frequencies. And I've seen multiple studies on the effects that it have on humans. And not just humans, animals as well. And insects. Jack loves talking about garlic. Jack talks about garlic all the time, and he's probably right. He says it's very healthy to eat it. He eats it like an apple. But that's something else. Since you brought up garlic, you know what else you get flagged for on YouTube now? Talking about vitamin C. Now I broke 2 rules. I've been flagged twice now. I got a copyright strike today over the Out of Shadows video. It's hard to spread truth. And, you know, we changed the name of the show. We used to have a show called Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I really liked that name. But I was shooting myself in the foot with the algorithm. Let me see what the watch party's been talking about. Abigail says it's terrible. How do you wake up friends and family that are completely brainwashed and believe their stupid TV? I've always known and felt the deception because I have wonderful discernment. Yeah. How do you do it? Slowly. That's the thing. Last night we had a guest on, Tony, and he's a truther. And we were trying to talk about that a little bit, but what we do is we try to jar them awake too severely. We try to shake them awake. We got to be more surgical with our approach. You know, they've been brainwashed and indoctrinated since birth. Now, we're fortunate. We rose up out of this. But we know what's been used on them. And we need to take that into account when we're dealing with them. I think we need to be more understanding when we wake people up and realize that you're breaking down their whole belief system. Think of what you've discovered in your awakening, your personal awakening. As you realize all the things that are going on behind the curtain, think of all of that, and then imagine believing the polar opposite, because you came to that over time. You believe the polar opposite, and everything you believe is being upturned. So I think we need to remember that when dealing with them. Yeah, you can't say the V word either, Carol says. It's real. We live in 1984, literally. That's where we're at. And it's by design. And Orwell wasn't a time traveler. He wasn't someone that saw the future. He was involved with these people. He was involved with them. These secret societies. He had inside information. They've had this agenda for hundreds of years. This plan. Just like I was saying in the monologue. MK Ultra and propaganda and all that. That stuff's not new. That stuff's not new. It's just been perfected over the years. And, you know, the fact that it got exposed. MK Ultra and Operation Mockingbird have both been exposed. You can look them up through Freedom of Information Act releases. You know, whatever the CIA didn't shred and get rid of, but they were exposed. That doesn't mean they ever stopped. It just shows you it's real. It's proven. There's no reason to believe that they would ever stop doing it. It's the CIA's entire purpose is to mislead and control governments, including our own. And it is often used against the American people. Because like he says, we're all over the place on this show, but his awakening took many years. Mine did too. Well, think about it. Something happened that woke you up, that shook you awake, and helped you start breaking through the layers of all this bullshit that's been laid on us. And whatever it was, got you looking behind the curtain. You didn't even realize there was a damn curtain. So we got to just be a little easier with them. Jack says, Jack's teasing Heath. Does anybody actually know what Top Fan Plus One is on Facebook? I have no idea what it is. I can't figure it out. And I now have somebody helping me on the page. Thank you again to Brittany. I just want to give her a shout out during the show. I really appreciate your help. And it means the world to me that you're helping me grow the page. But I asked her, and I don't. She might have told me. Now I feel bad, but I don't know that we've been able to figure it out. I don't know what Top Fan Plus One is. I want to know what it means. And is there a Top Fan Plus Two? You know, I like to have information, but it takes time to wake up, though. And I think we're too rough with them. We come at them too hard. We come in with power shots and we need to do jabs. Adam says he woke up with one video. Everybody's different though, right? Everybody's different. And like, you're probably not as etched in stone. I'm pretty loose myself. I can easily adapt to new ideas if presented with adequate information. So, but everybody's not like that. A lot of people aren't like that, actually. Paula asked me if I believe the arrests are coming. I hope so. I hope so. I get a lot of trouble from a lot of my Q friends because it's hard for me to believe that this power structure, this hundreds of year old power structure, which is who these people are that would be arrested, is really getting ready to be taken down when it looks like they're in attack mode. Now, that could be out of desperation. You know, it could be. So, again, whenever I'm asked this, I always preface it with I could definitely be wrong. But what my fear is that they've got everybody that would be the alphas convinced that this is going to be done, but it's going to be done in your best interest. So accept it. And then once it's done, it's going to be too late. And then we're going to realize that we're screwed. That's my fear. But I have been told multiple times, rest assured, that means I lack faith. I don't feel like I lack faith. I think I'm just deeply realistic. And that is a downfall of mine. I will admit to that. But I hope so. Let's just leave it at that. I really do, you know. And I'd love to see them start with Hillary Clinton, one of the most evil people walking the planet. And I really do hope that's true. Paula said, you know they're planning Michael be the running mate for Biden, Michael Obama. Are they really? It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think Biden's going to make it to July. Jack, you are Top Fan Plus One. What does it mean, though? Marie says that she got sick with MS, which led me to question everything from my early 20s. See, it's different things for everybody. Something gets you to start looking and digging. And until you do that, you kind of have to do it for yourself. Until you do that, you're not going to progress. You're not going to advance, and you're not going to grow. Like, I expose myself to everything. Like this watch party that we're having right now. It happens to be in a Q group. I don't agree with everything there. I love that group, though. I follow the stuff that they put out, and I inform myself. I believe in a philosophy that was pushed by William Cooper. To listen to everything. Take it all in, but believe nothing. Make your own decisions. Figure out what you find to be true. And that's all you can really do. There's just so much deception in the world. That's the way I do it. I don't know. I think it's a good way to be. Ginger says, just took a DCC poll that sent me to Act Blue and offered my president sticker of Obama. What? as a reward for donating. The nerve that they have to ask us for money anymore, right? You know, some of you know, politically, I was a burner. They're still sending us emails for money, like we would give a nickel to the Democratic Party. We are 100% about destroying the Democratic Party. They are evil. They're part of the evil establishment that rules over us. Not that the Republicans are any better, but the Democrats are worse, I believe, because they hide it. They try to make you believe they have your best interests at heart while they're stabbing you in the back. That's worse to me. That's. Jones says, I have fibromyalgia, and I really think a lot of it's connected to chemicals used on the farm as a child. Most of those chemicals are banned now. I'm hoping to have an expert on about things like that because we have been poisoned. We have been. The things that have been done to us, it's much more than mind control. And a lot of times I forget that when I'm on this show, I'm preaching to the choir. So we already understand that we're under the attack by real enemies that have an evil agenda. Yeah, Desiree, the Democrats are evil. I agree with you, 100%. And they need to be torn to the ground. The entire Democratic establishment. And our elections need massive reform. I think those would be things that everybody could agree on, politically. I don't know how much or where I'll fall politically now because of what happened with Bernie Sanders. Things have changed in that regard. I do know I'll still vote, but it'll be more surgical. It won't be for blue no matter who. I'll tell you that. You know, and this is how I've been dealing with those idiots, by the way. Just tell them you're going to vote. You know how they're begging you to vote? Just say, I will. I'm going to vote. Just don't even go any further with them. Don't waste your time. A lot of them are paid trolls to begin with, but they seem to be accepting that as an answer. I'm going to vote. You just probably won't like who I vote for. Ginger says, I sent him an email that I wanted this party to burn to the ground and was never Biden and never Obama. Good. I've done something similar to that. When Claire McCaskill sent me a letter to donate to her, I sent her back a letter with 27 cents in it and just basically a long FU about why I would never give her any money at all, ever, and how she is an enemy of the people. Philip shared something about MK Ultra in the comments. He says, I get a text wanting funds from the Democratic Party. Dude, you need to report that as spam. They got no right asking us for money. They're an enemy of democracy. They outright admitted it in court. That's a fact. That's not me saying it to be outrageous. It's a fact. This is all true. So far, everything we've covered on this episode is true and verifiable. You can look all of it up. I encourage you to, because again, that's how I feel. I think you should listen and then do your own research. Check it all out for yourself. Carol asked if I could remind new people about Bernie or Vest. That's how I feel. I feel like what we do now is direct action. Bernie or Vest is a group that I like and a direction I'd like to go. I hope that they're going to continue forward no matter what, though, because it seemed like I interviewed Eric from Bernie or Vest, and it seemed like they were hinging a lot of hopes on the convention. I don't know how good of an idea that is, because I don't trust the Democrats. I don't trust them to even have the damn convention. I see them at this point going to a virtual convention. They're going to use and capitalize off the fear from this virus as much as they possibly can. And they want to keep Joe Biden from being exposed as much as they possibly can. So I don't know how much I would hinge my hopes on a convention. So I hope they're prepared to move forward and do something like France, where it's every weekend, consistently, and in large numbers, we do this. That's absolutely what needs to happen. And the general strike, that's coming up soon. So that's something that we need to focus on too. That's what I mean, direct action. That's what I believe in now. More than politics. I'll vote, but it'll be strategic. But direct action is what I think we do. And there's a general strike coming up on the 1st of May, and I think that would be really important to take part in. I plan to take part in it. That's how we speak to power. That's what we do. Things like that. Carol says the convention's in August. This is not going away anytime soon. This lockdowns and these shutdowns, this stuff's not going away anytime soon. I don't think. I hope it does. Again, a lot of times I want to be wrong. Like with the arrests, I want to be wrong. And with this not going away anytime soon, I want to be wrong. But I don't think I am. Marie says, I wrote the New York Election Board an email today saying they better not take Bernie off the primary ballot. That would be cheating, just as the DNC did. But they say that they have it in their rules that they can do that. And that there's nothing that can be done about it. Joan says, I should listen to Bernie's chat meetings. They have nothing to do with Biden, and it's all about how he's doing everything he can to help us now. And the speakers he have offers a lot of really good information about the situation. I'll come back around to Bernie, but right now I'm upset with him. And I'm going to be honest with you about why. He straight up called us irresponsible. I will not and will actively work against voting for Joe Biden. I would never support Joe Biden. And I also don't like the way he's treating former staffers and, like Bree Joy, and the way he talked about her, instead of being respectful and saying, well, she's entitled to her opinion and I think she's this and that, a great person. I disagree. Instead of doing that, just was like, well, she's a former staffer. I don't even feel the need to have to comment on her. That's disrespectful. So I'm a little upset in certain ways. Some people have been able to forgive him pretty quick. I haven't been able to yet. Desiree said, I was a Democrat 3 months ago until I came upon a lot of truth and woke up. And that brought you over to the Republican Party. Well, can I ask why? Like, just seriously, and I'm not gaslighting you or nothing. A lot of people that watch my stuff know I'm not like that. I'm really asking, like, what about truth and the truth movement drove you to the Republican Party? Because I'm really curious about truth and politics marrying up. Because it's never really worked out for me. It's come close, but it's never really worked out, the marriage of those two things. He says, I'm still not happy with Bernie. I'm not either. I at times am very angry with him, because if anybody was irresponsible in that situation, I think it was Bernie. It wasn't us. Bernie was the one that was irresponsible. It was irresponsible to start a revolution, get everybody all riled up that we're going to take down this establishment that we know and understand how evil they are, and get us believing that, and then come to a full stop and expect us to now fight for everything we were just told we were going to tear to the ground. That's irresponsible. That's irresponsible. And if anything's irresponsible, that was what was irresponsible. I'm not happy with being called that. And I didn't care when we were called Russian agents. When there was nothing, and all he did there was not come out against it. And I supported that stuff. I defended it. I was like, okay, he has to push the Russia agenda because it keeps him in his position as Democratic Outreach Chair, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which it did, and I still agree with. But I would make excuses for that stuff. I'm not making excuses for this irresponsible comment because we are not being irresponsible. It is the definition of insanity to keep voting blue no matter who. They've never shown that they have your interests at heart or will work for anything that they even tell you that they will. So like I was talking to Eric in that conversation, and he was saying that we need to push them to accept Bernie's platform. It wouldn't mean anything to me if they accepted Bernie's platform, because I don't believe they would do any of it. You see what I mean? Jack says, go independent. We be thinking. Gerard, hey Gerard, good to see you. Indeed, they never stopped. Power concedes nothing without demands. Mockingbird is still going. Absolutely is. Thanks for bringing me back to the topic, by the way. We are under attack, and the people are under attack. And it is scientific. They are using MK Ultra techniques, and they're using it through Operation Mockingbird, which is still active in all forms of media, all forms. It's true. It's verifiable. Now, the belief systems behind it, maybe that stuff, I feel is verifiable as well, but you may question that stuff. But the fact that we're under attack, that is a fact. He says, told us to fight the establishment and now wants us to embrace the establishment. And that's incredibly irresponsible. You know, we've been sitting here having debates with people over and over and over again that have told us that there's no hope in democracy for our agenda, for the things that we believe in. We've been trying to tell them they're wrong, because here was somebody that was saying, no, look, we can take it on. We can take it down. And then all of a sudden, in my opinion, way too early, backs out of the fight and goes, well, you're irresponsible now if you can't support it. Don't you see how dangerous Donald Trump is? I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. I'm not. And if you are, I feel like you're a victim of Trump derangement syndrome. I don't feel like it's based on fact. They go around and around going, he's the most dangerous president of all time. No, he's not. No, he isn't. And I'm not a fan. You don't have to be. But it's not true that he's the worst president ever. And the things they say, like he's going to be a dictator. Stop. Come on. And you know what? I think we could get Trump on board with a lot of things that we want. And this not my president bullshit isn't helping anybody, because that is who's president. And if I have anything to do with it, it's going to be who's president for the next 4 years, because it can't be Joe Biden. So we need to, if you want progressive agenda, vote that way and hold these people accountable. And that means not being afraid. We're going to have to tear them down. I know a lot of people don't like that talk. They don't want to do that. But they need to be destroyed. We don't need to be worried or threatened with Senate seats, Supreme Court seats. Don't let them use that stuff against you. If they're working against the people, no matter what letter's next to their name, they need to be removed from power. That's the way I feel. You know, that's really the way I feel. And politics itself is a divisionary tactic. It's just used to divide us up, keep us broken up into little groups, and make us easy to control in the first place. And I kind of am ashamed that I put so much faith in it, because I never did have any faith in it. And I still believe we could have took it down. That's why I said he was irresponsible to do what he did so early. Why tell us we're going to fight if you're not ready to fight? To me, that's irresponsible. Why have the comments stopped everywhere? And I'm talking about everywhere. On every platform, the comments have ceased. Now, I depend on those. You guys think that I'm very prolific and can just sit here and ramble on forever and ever. That's just not the case. I've been buying time for the last 5 minutes. Live is hard. Live is challenging. But let's see. I kind of got sidetracked, so we got talking about politics. But what I really wanted to focus on tonight, so I'll try to bring it around and put a little bow on it, is that mind control is used on the average person. Propaganda as a weapon. And we know this. So we need to inform the regular people and help them understand that they're under attack. Because they don't even know. They don't even know. So most of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, I know we talked about politics for a little bit, and it's not political. It's stuff we can all do no matter how you feel. As long as you feel like this evil that is existing in this world needs to be brought to an end and destroyed, we can all move forward together and clean up the damn house. We don't have to get stuck up on small little issues that we're bickering about. We can be big picture as well. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. So it needs to be okay with you to reach across the aisle and to talk to people with different views. And, you know, you've been conditioned not to do that as well, to break up into your own little teams. And, yeah, Carol, the feed just stopped. It's weird. It's weird. Could be I got really boring all of a sudden and everybody just decided to stop talking. That's possible. Again, I'm paranoid. So I try to remind myself that it could just be that maybe I got interesting. Maybe it was the polar opposite of what I was thinking. And everybody just dried up. I have no idea what I was even saying. Because I was trying to figure out what to use to wrap this up. Because everybody in this room is on board, aren't they? Why does no one ever show up that doesn't agree? That's like, hey, Shawn, we're not under mind control. There's no such thing as Operation Paperclip or Operation Mockingbird or MK Ultra. You know, we just never have anybody that doesn't understand. I just attract very informed people, I guess. I don't know. Jones says, do I ever listen to Dr. Shiva? I've not heard of Dr. Shiva, actually. I'll check it out. So I'll check that out. But as far as MK Ultra being used on the people, I just think the main thing I wanted us to take out of that discussion was that we need to remember what they're up against. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So thanks for watching and hanging out with us tonight and taking part in this discussion. And I'm glad everything went well in the watch party and I was able to look at the comments. I'm going to eventually get more devices and cooler setup so that I can have more access. Like, for instance, I need to apologize to Periscope because I can't see your comments at all. But we're making little steps towards progress, just slowly as we go. But thanks again to Nissa, who is helping with that, helping us move forward. She's been a supporter of the show for a long time. And Jones says, I have a smart audience. You're right. I just attract intelligent people. And there never seems to be any pushback. Now, that's not true. We've gotten into some crazy topics on the show. So from time to time, there is a little pushback. But most of the time, everybody's on board. Whenever that happens, I try to make sure that we get enough of it across that if anybody was curious but not informed, that they would at least look it up and check it out for themselves. But you have a great evening too, Jack. We're going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight, but we're going to get into this more. This will be a topic I'm going to make a longer form video on. I've been wanting to cover MK Ultra for a while. But thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for hanging out. And thanks for putting up with me at the watch party and letting me run my little experiment to see if the two devices would help me with the comments. I hope there was value in this feed. It went a little all over the place. I was scared of that because it was such a big topic. But I hope we got the point across and everybody gets what I was trying to say, is that they're under heavy brainwashing. These people were trying to wake up. And it's scientific what's been done to them and very in depth. So we need to remember that when we're trying to wake them up, because we do need to wake them up. the mass awakening needs to be quickened. I agree that there is one and that it's happening and it's exciting to be a part of it, but we need it to accelerate, because I think the evil people that lord over us are at minimal in attack mode, moving to their final agenda and put their final agenda into place. I really believe that. I want to be wrong, but I believe that. Thanks for watching and hanging out, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7 for another episode where we might get into this a little bit more. I have to watch it and see if it even made any sense. But thanks for hanging out. This has been the Shawn Yankey Show. We do this every night at 7. So I'll see you tomorrow at 7 for the next episode. And that's 7 Central. I got to get better at saying 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Or Pacific, incorporate that as well. I don't know why I can't get that down, but I need to get better about that. But thanks again, guys.